folks. Welcome. My name's Emily. Let's get started. Seated. The cats are joining today. You can sit in any comfortable position. Take the hands behind you for just a moment, close to the body so that when you press them down, your spine feels like it gets taller, and then press your sit bones down so that the low back lengthens too, so that the upper back feels like it's lengthening, the mid back, and then also the low back. And then take the outer upper arms back to broaden your chest. And then as you bring your palms to touch at your heart center, what stays, stays, and what goes, goes. So we'll take the palms to touch at the heart center, lowering the eyelids. Bring the crown of your head on top of your spine. Just a few full, slow breaths. So just to say one more time, in a seated position, bring the hands close beside your body or behind your body. Press the arms down, press the hands down to elongate the upper body, and then press your sit bones down to lengthen your lower body. And take the outer upper arms back to broaden your chest. And bring the crown of the head on top of the base of the spine. Take a slow, full inhale. And as you bring the palms to touch at the heart center, whatever stays, stays, and whatever goes, goes. And the little adjustment that you just made, palms touch at the center of the chest. Eyelids closed. Slow inhales. And lengthen your exhales. If you'd like to begin with the sound of Om, inhale. Om. Slow, full inhale. As you exhale, bowing the mind toward the center of the chest, toward your heart center, spiritual heart center. Softening the shoulders and the shoulder blades down your back. Check in with your attention and intention. Where's your mind? What's your purpose, your intention for your time here? To be thoughtful, to be focused. And then as you're ready, releasing the hands to the thighs, broaden those outer upper arms back again, so broadening the collarbones. And then on an inhale, lifting the chin from the chest, bring the chin parallel to the earth. And if you haven't already, opening the eyes. And stretch your legs for a moment. Some blood flow behind the knees. The legs can be hip distance apart or together, whatever's most comfortable in your body. And take the hands out, fingertips to the ground, and press the arms down, press the fingertips down to lengthen and lift the spine up off the hips. And as you exhale, press your sit bones down again. Extend through the arches of your feet. So take the inner legs through the calves, through the arches of your feet. Press through the heels of your feet. Spread your toes wide and take a nice big inhale. Just gently lengthening the backs of the legs, shoulder blades down the back as you exhale. Good. Let's roll to child's pose position. If the hips don't touch the heels, that's no problem. They can be elevated. Big toes touch or angle toward each other. The legs will be wide to make lots of space for the hips and the belly. And we'll either hips are lifted or hips come down to the heels. And we'll lengthen the belly a little forward rather than just dropping down and rounding the spine. Just lengthen the belly a little bit, lengthen the spine a little. If the forearms come to the ground, if that feels nice, no problem. Forehead comes to the earth. Slow inhalation into the front of your belly or ribs, into the sides, and into the back body. And a nice long exhale. And again, a slow, full inhale. And a nice long exhale. Let's do 2 more of those. If it feels nice to gently rock the space between your eyebrows, left and right, that's an option. Releasing the thoughts from before you got onto your mat or onto your space. And then if you're moving, finding stillness, plant your palms down into the earth, lifting your elbows and your forearms up off the earth. And as you plant your palms down, extend the fingers, not hard, but just some energy through your fingers away from your palms. And take the shoulder blades down your back. You might feel a little bit of opening in your chest or your armpits. Take a slow inhale and a long exhale. Good, and then we're gonna stay here unless it's time to come up and take a break and stretch your legs out. But if it's comfortable for you, we'll move lateral to the right. So we'll walk the hands to the right. You can lift up if you like, lift your belly up over the thigh. You don't have to go, too far. Just extending to the right a little bit. Your forehead can rest on your left arm. Press the palms down and away from your body to ground the left side, the left hip, the left foot. Slow inhale into that side of the body. And as you exhale, imagine that you could gently round or release the left side of your body toward the ground a little bit. For most of us, that side of the body rolls up toward the sky. One more inhale here, a little longer than you're used to, and a slow exhale, softening the jaw. And then we'll inhale and come up to center, or come back to center, and we'll take a break here, pressing down to come up into tabletop. And in tabletop, stretch the right leg back, tucking your toes. Spread the fingers, wrists underneath the shoulders. Squeeze the outer hips toward the middle line of your body and push back through the Achilles, through the heel of your right foot, lengthening that leg. And instead of the spine rounding and looking down at the ground, press the palms down well to lengthen your arms and extend your chest forward. You don't need to lift your head and crank the back of your neck. And then let's go to the other side. So tucking the left toe, sliding those toe mounds back to lengthen the left leg. Press the outer hips toward the center of your body, getting a little control. Feeling a little bit of containment there. Press the palms down while spread your fingers. Press back through the heel, the Achilles. And then as you exhale, roll the shoulders back and let your chest come forward microscopically. As you exhale, we'll place the left shin back on the ground, the left knee, and then we'll come back to child's pose for the lateral extension on the other side. So hips come to heels or toward the heels, extending the belly forward, and then walking off to the left any amount. Resting head on right arm, pressing palms down and away from the body for a lateral extension through the spine. As the hands press down and away from the body, you feel a little bit of heaviness or groundedness in the right hip. And with this exhale, gently roll, it feels like a little roll to me at least, roll that right rib cage almost imperceptibly toward the ground. And take a breath here. On an inhale, hands walk back to center. Exhale, maybe forehead comes to or toward the ground. Press the palms down, inhale back to tabletop. And exhale here. Move through the upper back now. We're gonna inhale and lift the right arm up to the sky in tabletop. Turn the chest toward the sky. And then exhale, we're gonna thread the needle, threading right arm through the left. We're not gonna stay here. We're gonna inhale and come right back up. You can turn and look at the sky or not. Exhale and thread. One more time, we're gonna do a little movement, just like the same thing. Inhale, come on up. And then as you exhale and thread, you might come to your shoulder and the side of your head on the right side. You might place your left hand kind of by your wrist for a little kickstand. Maybe that's nice. Extend through the fingers. Let the right arm be active. Let the right arm be active. It's not hard extending through the fingers, but some energy. You could also extend the left arm long, press the hand down and away from the body. We'll inhale here. And as you exhale, hips press right. Notice if it's possible to breathe into any sensation that you're feeling. Soften the jaw. And the next time you inhale, place this left hand underneath you so that you feel sturdy. And then all the way roll back up, open up, and exhale to tabletop. Good. We're going to move through that on the other side. So just take your time. As you're moving through this on the left side, we'll do 3 rounds. And then in your third time, as you thread your needle, so the hips are up off the heels, we're in tabletop. We don't want to be too heavy on the neck and shoulder here. So there's lots of weight. Hips are right on top of the knees, maybe even a little back. I can see that in my own body. It brings more weight into the lower body. Release the chin from the chest and throat. You can press back a little bit. So you've got the right hand, might be kind of near your left wrist, or your arm could be extended. So we're not dumping weight into the neck. This is kind of an upside down way to get into the shoulder blade. Extending energy through the left fingertips, breathing through the nose, nice and slow. As you exhale, we'll press hips to the left. Not too much, just a little bit. Notice any shift in sensation there. So we're bringing the mind into the body through awareness. And then as you exhale this time, the right hand comes underneath you so it feels like a sturdy kind of kickstand. And then we'll use the inhale to unwind. Inhale, extend the left arm out and up, open the chest a little, and exhale, release. Good. So in tabletop position here, we'll tuck the toes and move through cat and cow, or the tops of the toes can be on the ground. So as we inhale, the chest comes forward, the spine feels like it drops a little bit, and the tailbone feels like it lifts up, or the sit bones feel like they lift up. And then as we exhale, we'll press into the ground with the hands, rounding the spine, letting the head and neck go. And then we'll move through a few times. You can isometrically pull the hands toward the knees as you inhale to take the shoulder blades away from the ears to broaden the chest. And the exhale, again, we can press the hands away isometrically from the body, rounding the spine. So your inhale, if you'd like, you can really draw the mind into the body through the breath. And so rather than moving and then breathing, you could inhale, and when the inhale comes, that's when your body moves into cow pose. So that's when the chest is open and the sit bones are high. And when you exhale, that's when your body moves into cat pose, and that's the pose where the spine is rounded. So it's more of a rhythm, breath leading the body, than the mind telling everything how to do everything. As you're breathing and moving, maybe you like to add little lateral extensions here so the head and hips would swivel to the right and left in either cat or cow or neutral spine. Or it might be that your head and hips move kind of in circles, is what it feels like, as if the spine were a rod, although it is moving a little bit, and the head and hips were circling around it, and you'll go in both directions. So you're just moving, just giving options. You're moving in a way that feels connective for you. You're breathing to move the body, and that's connecting, the breath is connecting mind and body. So go through one more round of breath, however you're moving. And then we'll come back to tabletop. Knees will widen, big toes come to touch. We'll inhale. And as you exhale, press back to or toward child's pose just for a moment. Slow, full inhale, look forward, shoulder blades roll back, look forward just a tiny baby bit. And as you exhale, let's pull the chest through the hands and come onto the belly. As we come to the belly, you can bring your forearms underneath your chest or throat just for a little kickstand for a moment. We'll lift the right leg and pull it back. So we'll lift the right leg up and pull it back in space. We're lengthening that little bit of space at the hip crease. And same thing with the left leg. We'll lift it and pull it back. You might feel a little dumping in your low back. So we'll extend through the legs. So just like if you were in a standing pose, you would lengthen your legs back. Taking the pelvic floor toward the ground, the base of the pelvis toward the ground. And then let's bring the forehead to the earth and slide the hands beside your chest. Take just a moment and release your elbows out to the side and feel what happens to the fronts of your shoulders. They sort of round forward. And then on an inhale, pull the elbows in toward the ribs and roll the shoulders back. Hopefully the chest feels open and the fronts of the shoulders feel open. And the fingers are spread wide on the mat beside your chest, but there's not too much weight in them. So here, let's extend through the legs. So we're pressing through the heels a little bit. We're pressing through the toe mounds. We're lengthening through the toes, pressing the base of the pubic bone down. And as we inhale, very gently keep the elbows in and lengthen your chest forward. Rather than lifting way up, just lengthen your chest forward. That might seem a little odd, but then lower back down and release. So hands are still by your chest and release the tension in your legs. And then let's engage the legs again, stretching back through the toes, the toe mounds, the heels, pressing the base of the pubic area down. Roll the elbows out. Exhale. As you inhale, draw the elbows in towards your ribs, roll shoulder blades down the back, and extend through your legs. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Soft weight in the hands. So the head will lift up just a little bit, but you're thinking of lengthening rather than lifting, and then lower back down. And then one more time. On an exhale, roll the elbows out, shoulders roll forward. Inhale, roll the elbows in, extend through your legs, bring that base of the pubic area down. As you're breathing, lengthen your chest forward, feel long rather than you're lifting. And exhale to release. Bring the forehead to the ground, release the legs, and then slide either your hands under your forehead or your forearms under your forehead. On an inhale, lift the feet toward the sky so the knees are bent, the thighs are on the ground, but the bottoms of the feet face the sky. And then very gently, we'll windshield wiper the heels, the feet left and right, only going so far as feels good for you. Maybe again, the breath moves the feet, the legs, the movement of them. And notice if the hip crease is coming up off the ground, and you can extend the legs again to keep the hip creases a little bit more grounded. As the mind wanders, thinking about other stuff, which is what it does, its whole job is to create thoughts. Well, not its whole job, but someone's job. Just notice it, maybe name it. Oh, there's a thought. And then utilize that awareness to come back to the sensations of your breath in your body. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? What's the movement of the breath like? And then one more round like this. And as you're ready, releasing the legs back to the ground, forehead to the ground, sliding the hands beside the chest, elbows in. We're going to tuck the toes and transition, lifting the hips up to the sky for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You can just transition in a way that's nice for you. Bring your feet onto the mat, heels lifted. And then lift your sit bones high. So you're going to lift your heels and your sit bones as high as you can. So you're lifting your arches. I mean, the toes of your feet and your toe mounds are on the ground, but you're lifting your arches, you're lifting your heels, and you're lifting your hips high. Straighten the arms, press the palms down, lengthen energy through your fingertips to start to feel maybe your upper back come into your body rather than rounding out. So another option to help with this is to keep your hips lifted, but bend your knees a little. Press the palms down. So bend your knees, lift your hips, keep them lifted, but bend your knees, press the palms down, lengthen your arms, and see if you can just bring your upper back gently into your body any little bit. Free the front of the neck, the throat. And then keep the upper back, if you've gotten it into your body any amount, and lift your hips again, straightening your legs a bit, but your heels are still lifted. As you exhale, lower knees back to the ground for tabletop. Inhale and tabletop. Open your chest forward as you exhale. hips to heels, child's pose. Slow inhale here. Option for an open mouth exhale. One more time, inhale. Option to sigh. Inhale, lift the gaze any tiny baby bit. Press the palms down. Exhale, pull the chest through the hands, coming onto the belly. Hands can stay beside the chest or come underneath, or beside the chest or underneath the chest, whatever feels good. And then stretch the right leg long, lift and pull back, and lift and pull back the left leg. Forehead to the mat. Hands beside the chest, we're moving into low cobra. Elbows come in toward the side ribs. Lengthen those legs, extending energy through them. Inhale, placing the base of the pubis on the ground, extending the chest forward. Elbows go back. I mean, they're not moving, but they're pointing backward. Lengthening the chest forward, lengthening the legs back. Exhale, lower down 2 more times. So we're lengthening the chest forward as you inhale in low cobra. The low body is very involved. It's extending back away from your lengthening chest. As you exhale, lower down 1 more time. Inhale extends and maybe you get a little lift. Exhale lowers you down, tucking your toes. Inhale here with the toes tucked. The feet can be as wide as feels good. Exhale back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And maybe here it feels nice to walk your legs out. So pressing the heels down, pressing one heel down as the other one lifts. Back and forth, bringing some weight into the outer feet. And then one more breath. And we'll walk the feet a little closer together. And we'll bring the feet to the ground, the heels to the ground. Oh boy. On an inhale, let's lift the right leg up and back. Now you can lift your left heel if that feels good, but bring your hips even so the right hip isn't lifted. And squeeze the outer hips together and push back through that right foot very much. Exhale and lower down with that foot. As you inhale, the left leg is going to lift up. You can lift up your right heel off the ground if you like. The hips will stay even as much as they can. Press through that left foot so much, like you're going to push into a wall behind you. And as you exhale, lower down. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale, hips to or toward heels in child's pose. We're going to move through this. Inhale, chest comes between the hands. Exhale onto the belly. Take a moment to stretch your legs back. Hands come beside the chest. Low cobra. Inhale, extend through the legs. Lengthen the chest forward, elbows in. Pause here at the top. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale, center. Extend through the legs. Exhale, look over your left shoulder and soften the jaw. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, reach the legs back, tuck the toes. And as you exhale this time, downward facing dog, walking the legs out for a few breaths. Extending through the arms, pressing the palms of the hands down, lengthening through the fingers. And then we'll move into this 3-leg dog one more time, walking the feet a little closer together, not toward the hands, but toward each other, so that you feel a little bit more stable. Left leg goes up this time. So inhale, extend the left leg up and back, squeezing outer hips together. Hips are more even than not. Exhale to lower down. Right leg, inhale, press that foot well behind you. And exhale, lower down. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale to child's pose. Slow full inhale here. Open mouth exhale if you like.
One more time, inhale. Sigh if you like. As you inhale, walk your hands back toward your legs to lift your chest up.
And if sitting on the shins, I mean, we're not going to stay here, but just come to a seat. I forgot one little thing, but we can come back to it. We should probably not come back to it. We should just do it. So let's come up to stand for one pose. So it's hot out, obviously, and I recognize that most folks are inside, and inversions and forward extensions are said to be cooling. But ideally, they would be done with a lot of support, and we're going to do that on the floor in just a minute. But you could do something like this against a wall if you wanted to. We're just going to try it for a moment. So we're going to step the legs very wide, so wide that you could put one of your whole legs between your feet. I'm going to show this from the side. So if you wanted to, you could use the wall here, and you could broaden your legs and bend your knees and then walk yourself back into a wall so that the backs of your legs touch the wall. So with the feet nice and wide here, we're going to rotate the heels out slightly. Rotate the heels out slightly so that the pinky toe edge of your feet, your pinky toes and your heels are in the same line rather than your pinky toes being splayed out. Okay. So we're moving into a Prasarita Padottanasana, but the arms and spine will be extended forward like downward facing dog. So we'll just give it a try. So before we go down to place the hands on the ground, let's lengthen the legs. So take your right leg and extend it long, the outer leg and the inner leg pressing down, and push your whole foot down into the ground. A lot of times in this pose, the outer ankle will feel like it's rounding and sickling, and there's a lot of weight in there. So we've got to really press both the inner and outer leg and push the foot down. And let's do the same thing with the left leg. And I like to do them separately so that there's awareness. Oh yeah, this is what it feels like to lengthen my right leg and lengthen my left leg and then push my whole foot down, the front and back of the foot, inside and outside of the foot. So hands to the waist if that works for your body. Inhale and bring the elbows toward each other on the back, just like we did in low cobra. As you exhale, extend the legs long, press the feet into the ground, and start to lengthen your torso parallel to the ground, and then place the hands on the mat. We're going to inhale here, and then as you exhale, for me, I need to broaden my feet a little bit. We're going to walk the hands forward, like downward facing dog. The hands can be nice and wide here, as wide as your shoulders, but the hips aren't really moving too much. Now, if it feels nice in your body to push your hips a tiny bit back, that's fine. If it feels better to walk them a little forward, we don't want the hips to be too far forward, right? So we're just kind of finding that Goldilocks moment for ourselves. Extend the right leg long, press the whole bottom of the right foot down. Extend the left leg long, press the whole bottom of the left foot down. Take your inner thighs and push them to your outer thighs. Take your inner thighs and push them to your outer thighs. And lengthen your belly, lengthen your spine, extend your arms. Take a nice, slow, full inhale. You can see your toes here, and if they're scrunched, lengthen them long. Lift your quadriceps up to your hips. One more inhale. One long exhale. Good. Inhale, walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. And as you do that, hands underneath your shoulders, your torso is parallel to the ground. Heel toe your feet in 1 or 2 times so you feel more steady. And then nice and slow, press your legs down. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows in towards your back. Inhale and lift your chest all the way up. Come up to stand. And exhale, step your feet together. Good. Let's come back to the ground. We're going to sit on the ground. in Upavishta Konasana. So it is really the same shape as Prasarita Padottanasana. So the legs are long, they're wide. The legs are long and they're wide. And there's about a leg distance between the feet. And I'll turn to the side and you just want to look in your own body. For many of us, the back will round here. And so it doesn't feel like that same extension that we just had in the whole torso when we were in Prasarita with downward facing dog, arms, and spine, right? So you can sit on something if you've got a little something to sit on. That could be nice. You could roll up something, sit on a sweater. And not that anybody has a sweater around these days, but if you have air conditioning in your office, maybe. So we'll take a moment here to help with the spine and place the hands beside your hips. So we'll try this first. Fingertips forward. Press your palms down and lengthen your arms. So take your triceps down to your elbows. Take the outer upper arms down. As you press the palms down evenly, press your sit bones down and press your heels down. It's the backs of the heels. Press those down. So you'll inhale here, lift up through the torso, take the outer upper arms back to broaden your chest. The jaw is soft, but there's lots of length. So the arms are long, the legs are long, the spine is long. And exhale, release, relax, and let go. And hopefully you're like me and you turn into a slinky, because then you know you were doing something. Okay, one more time. Upavishta Konasana. This time the fingertips come out to the side. So as the fingertips are out to the side, we're not pressing down yet. Let's push the sit bones down. Press the left sit bone and the right sit bone down. Press the left heel and the right heel down. And then inhale. As you exhale, press the fingertips down and out. Feel the spine lift up, come up off the hips. Keep pressing the sit bones and the heels down. Spread your toes, you can see them. Get a nice big inhale, rolling the outer upper arms back, taking the shoulder blades away from your ears. One more inhale. Try and keep this length as best you can, fingertips pressing down. As you walk your right hand a little behind you and your left hand in front of you. So it's a little turn here. Sit bones press down, heels press down. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. As you exhale, turn the left side of your belly toward the right. Push that left leg down. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, little baby turn here. Inhale back to center. The fingertips out to the side from the hips. Get long again, sit bones, heels push down, spread the toes, they're facing the sky. As you exhale, try and keep some of this length, and the right hand comes between your legs now, and the left hand comes just behind you any amount. Lengthen the arms again. Inhale, lift up through the spine. Exhale, the right side of the belly turns toward the left. So in the twist, we're always turning the head back as if that's going to do, I mean, it does something, but it's not a twist for the spine. So press the heels and sit bones down again. Spread your toes. Inhale, lift up through your spine. Exhale, and just gently turn the belly from the right toward the left. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale and release so the whole spine relaxes. You're like, oh man, I was doing something. I'm working here. Hands behind the knees. Slide the legs back together. With your feet on the ground, the knees bent, we'll place the hands beside and behind your body. So here are mine. You just want to feel held up and comfortable here. And the spine's long. It doesn't need to be rounded now. Now it's long. And you can walk your feet as wide as feels good. And we're just going to windshield wiper the knees left and right. Coming back to some kind of rhythmic movement, the breath, kind of pushing the legs left and pushing the legs right. And only going as much as feels nice in your body, only the rotation that feels nice in your body. Shoulders roll back from the ears. And do one more round, one more windshield wiper left and right. And just take your time. And when you're complete, we'll come back to center. And then we're going to windshield wiper the legs to the right. So there they are. We're going to walk the hands up to more of a seated position and pull this right knee back, right thigh back. So it's more now in line. So where it was before, the knee and thigh was forward of the hip, but now I'm going to draw it back in space. So it's more in line with the hip. So I've kind of got a windmill shape with my legs. This is a turn. So we'll press the hands down and away from the body, lengthening the arms and spine. And as we exhale, let's turn toward or over this right thigh. And you'll feel maybe something from your back, through your belly, maybe the front of the hip crease into the inner thigh. So this might be a psoas connection for you. We don't want to go too far. So you're finding, there's 100% and then there's 75. Let's hang out in 75. See about with your exhales, softening this back leg, this left leg, any tension in the back leg, and come out of the turn a little bit to help with that. So the psoas is connected to the nervous system, and the nervous system is predictive. A lot of times when we talk about the nervous system, we're like, oh, it triggered my nervous system. I don't know if anybody says that, but I certainly say that. But the nervous system is also predictive. So if there is, oftentimes yoga classes are poking at the sympathetic nervous system, are like fight, flight. We activate the muscles. We don't want to go too far because then we'll go into more extreme. We'll start to think more. There'll be tension in the body, in the face. So I want there to be some easeful activation. So as you're ready, we're going to exhale out of the shape. Make it a little bit rhythmic if you can and go back to the windshield wipers. Just a couple rounds just to move anything. And then we're going to rotate that windshield wiper to the left. On the opposite side, and the left leg will be a little bit in front of the hip. So I'm going to show it here. Here's my hip. I'm going to slide this leg back just a touch, right? And I can give more space to my knees. I can take my heels away from my thighs. I can open up the backs of my knees a little bit. And so we're going to keep this left hip heavy and start to turn any tiny amount over the thigh. So as you're breathing, roll the shoulders back as you're finding a little bit of sensation, but not 100%. Maybe you're breathing into your belly. Maybe you're breathing into your back. Feeling it inflate like a balloon and deflate like a balloon. Soften the jaw. Release the tension. This is a pigeon twist. So if we were on our bellies, this would be Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, moving toward that. Just noticing, scanning, where is there tension? Maybe come out of the shape just a little bit and take a deep breath into where there was tension. Let it expand and release. And then let's start to walk ourselves out of the twist, coming back to that windshield wiper last time. Good. Let's just do another round or two, whatever feels nice for you. Just releasing in the hips, moving the low back a little bit. And then as you're ready, we'll come back to center. And we're going to roll down onto the back. And as you do that, bring the legs in and give yourself a hug. The hands can be behind the knees if the knees are tender, if there's any pain in the knees, or hands to the top shin, or hands to the middle shin, or hands to the ankles. Now, if you're moving in a way that your hands come to your ankles, we're not pulling the legs in toward the belly. Instead, the ankles are moving toward the top thigh, so they're moving more downward rather than in. So you'll feel more of what feels like kind of the upper buttock coming onto the ground. You're just in a shape here that feels nice. Lots of options. Take the shoulders back, or the arms back into the shoulder sockets, and then take the upper arms down to the ground. Mm-hmm. Good. And then let's bring the feet to the ground for just a moment. You can slide the feet toward and away from your hips until you feel that the feet are stable, the legs are stable. So the ankles will be underneath the knees and the legs will be hip distance apart. So you can feel that for yourself a little bit. I mean, I'm cheating because I can see in the computer, but I can also feel. I can also feel that a little bit. You'll bring the heels out just a little bit. The knees will stay in line with the hips. And then here, all we're going to do is let's hold on. If you have a mat, hold on to the mat with your hands. So if you don't have a mat, press the palms down and away from your body, from your head. Sorry, from your head. Press the palms down and away. The arms are long. If you've got a mat, hold on to it, pull it away, and take your outer upper arms down to the ground. So you're rolling a little bit, you're rolling the shoulder blades into the ground. Okay, hopefully you can feel that. Pull the mat away or press the palms down and away. Press the heels down and slowly begin to lift your hips up. Outer upper arms stay down, and the space between your shoulder blades and even the base of your neck, your kind of the spine area in the middle of your body, is coming away from the ground as your outer upper arms are pressing down and your hands are pushing away from your head, or you're pulling your mat away from your head. Press the heels down, knees in line with the hips, stretch your toes, and then slowly from the base of your neck, start to lower down, bring your back to the ground, and then pull your buttock toward your heels. So you're lengthening your spine a little bit. We're going to try that 2 more times. We're not going to stay long. Okay. So instead of interlacing the hands under the back and putting more strain on the shoulders, we're not going to do that. So either pressing the palms down and away, the arms are long, or holding onto your mat and pulling the mat toward your feet. Press all of us, the outer upper arms down, maybe roll the shoulder blades under the body to help. And then keep pulling, press the heels down to start to lift your hips and your low back and your mid back. Keep those outer upper arms pressing down as the spine pulls up toward the sky. And slowly lower down, lengthening your spine as you go, pulling the buttock toward the heels as your back comes to the ground completely. And then one more time. Take your time. You've done it twice before. Don't forget to roll those outer upper arms down. Take the shoulder blades in away from the ground. Pull the mat away or press your palms down and away. Heels push down more. Extend your toes long. Instead of lifting them, just lengthen. And then exhale and slowly lower down. Pull buttock toward the heels as you lower down. And then let's place the hands on the low belly. Walk the feet. This is maybe controversial. Walk the feet together just for a moment and then press your inner feet, your knees, and your thighs together a lot. You'll feel maybe the base of your spine lift up away from the ground. And hopefully this helps to broaden your low back. So you just get a taste of that, and then let's walk the feet wide again. And they could be as wide as your mat if that's nice. Knees can stay as wide as the feet, or the inner knees could gently fall together. Hands stay on the belly and we'll breathe. The inhale lifts the palms up, inflates the palms, and the exhale softens. 2 more rounds of breath like this. The exhale softening the low back. Good, and then to release the low back a little bit more, we're gonna do just a very brief twist. So bring the legs into your body, just like we did before, giving the legs a little hug in. And then we're gonna push the legs together. So you can use your hands to just get the feel of it. We're gonna press the inner feet, the inner knees, and the inner thighs. Push them together as best you can. Instead of the arms coming way out as high as your shoulders, just slide your arms away from your hips a little bit at an angle. We're going to press the hands down and away from the body. Press the legs together, inhale. And as you exhale, we'll angle the knees toward the right elbow. Press the right hand down and away to bring your left shoulder to the ground. Your head and neck don't need to move. Squeeze your legs together. Inhale, back up. Bring your legs as close to your body as is comfortable. Exhale, knees angle toward the left elbow. Press your left hand down and away to release the right shoulder to the ground. Inhale back to center. Bring the legs as close in as you can. Exhale, right. Right hand down and away. Left shoulder releases. Press the legs together. Inhale back up. Now my breath might be different from yours, so you're moving with your breath. As your knees move to the left hand presses down and away. Right shoulder releases, jaw is soft. We're going to go one more round. Moving with your breath, legs pressed together. That will help. That will help your back. Now, will it help your jaw? Not so much. So you got to take your jaw out of it. Press that hand away that the knees are moving toward. Press it down in a way to get the opposite shoulder to the ground. And when you're complete, bring your legs in, give yourself a squeeze, take a nice big inhale. If you'd like, bring your forehead to your knees. And as you exhale, let's release into Shavasana. Stretching your legs long. If you like to sit for Shavasana, maybe that's an option for people. That's great. Lengthen your legs, lengthen your arms, lengthen the back of your neck. Release the breathing. So you're not breathing, controlling the breath. But do start to watch your exhales. Just observe them as we rest. Let the legs soften. Let the joints of the legs and feet soften. Let the joints of your hands and fingers soften. Let the shoulder joints soften. Let your jaw soften. Feel your body on the earth. As you feel your breathing, on an exhale, slide the hands to touch your belly. On another exhale, slide the heels, placing the feet on the earth. And then extending one arm across your ear, roll to that side. Stand your side for just a moment here. We're going to press that bottom arm and the top hand down, roll up to a seat. Placing palms to touch in front of the heart center if you like, or placing hands one on top of each other at the heart center. Noticing how you feel. Noticing your body breathing. And if you like, we'll Om one time. Inhale. Om. Exhale, bowing the mind toward the light at your heart. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Okay, thanks for joining today. Thank you for connecting. I can say thank you for connecting to yourself, for making important time to be aware of yourself and your body. Take good care.